Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. Deborah Dross is the principal of Synergy Unlimited LLC, a professional training and development company. Deborah is committed to empowering Hispanics to develop leadership skills to thrive in their careers, live with purpose, and be powerful contributors in their communities. She is a sought-after international speaker, author, and leadership trainer. Her book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, has transformed lives worldwide. She has served as a contributing writer for Latina, Catalina, and Immigrant magazines. Some of her clients include J.P. Morgan, Macy's, State Farm, and Kaiser. Her keynote address today is on the power of synergy. Now, before I call her up here, I did have the pleasure of meeting Deborah the other day and listening to her speak last night at an event, a chamber event at the Avita Institute that Verizon sponsored. Thank you very much. Great event. And she has a great deal of energy, so if you're feeling a little low, you don't need coffee, she's going to pump you up. She's a lot of fun. I already feel like we're familiar. And I went home and I actually downloaded her book, Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, and I read it last night. And great chapters, especially on energy and talking about living in the moment. Please join me in welcoming Deborah Dross.
Last night. I may declare you an official adrenaline addict, but I give you credit, full credit for that. Good afternoon and buenas tardes. How are you feeling? The chicken hit you yet? Okay. Well, you're about to be synergized. I am so grateful to be here to join you. My very first time in beautiful New Mexico. Yes, yes. And I am so pleased to be a part of this event. I know that Albuquerque Atlanta Chamber of Commerce has worked tirelessly to put this on, to have a great event for you. And New Mexico has been on my top 3 list of places to visit. And I thought, wow, this is going to be such an exciting place because of the culture, the nature, the mountains. But what I realized, what I really love about New Mexico is the people. The character of the people. So I'm really happy to be here today. And today we're going to be talking about roots, past, present, and future. And when we talk about New Mexico, the roots run deep here. And we're going to go back in history and reflect upon that and see where we're moving forward in the future. So when we talk about Hispanic Heritage Month, it's something that's relatively new. In fact, in 1968, we only had a week. And it wasn't until 1988 that we got an entire month to celebrate our history. I know, isn't that great? And the reason that they picked September 15th to October 15th is many of us from the countries are celebrating our independence. And as we sit here in New Mexico, from Native American heritage, from Spanish heritage, from Mexican heritage, there is so much that we have within us that we're bringing forward for future generations. And in order to have that power, we need to reflect back and be proud about where we came from and look to the future of where we're going. And I just want to give you a little bit of a background about me besides my adrenaline addiction, which now you know. Everybody say, hi, Deborah, type A personalities, right? I know you. Some of you are on the board now. And when I first realized my Hispanic heritage, I was kind of confused, to be honest with you, growing up. I was born in New York, and when you live in New York and you look like me, you're automatically Puerto Rican, right? And so I was just put in that box of Puerto Rican. I was teased a little bit on the playground, but still was proud to be Hispanic. And then I moved to Los Angeles, and I was automatically discovered I was Mexican. I was like, oh, okay, now I'm Mexican, right? And actually, I'm part of the 1% from Colombia. I don't know if there's any 1%ers in here, of Colombians. And my dad immigrated to this country when he was 18 years old, looking to pursue the American dream. He didn't know English, he didn't have any friends or family, any money or any jobs, just the hope of the American dream. And he ingrained in me the importance of education. And he learned English, put himself through school, went and got his degrees from Hofstra University in engineering. And he told me, muñequita, because my mom was muñeca, the dog was a muñequita. He said, Deborah, you can do anything you put your mind to do if you have focus, determination, and the ganas that makes you a proud Latina. Yeah, that's what he said. And I said, okay. And so he gave me that inspiration, and I worked hard. And I struggled when I decided to start a business. I don't know how many of you business owners out there, we know that it takes a lot of work, blood, sweat, and tears. And I thought, oh, when I left my day job, oh, now I'm going to have the freedom to do anything. I can work when I want, not work. I didn't realize when you start your own business, there's no hours where you start and begin. You can literally work 24 hours a day and still not be done. But my dad said, el flojo trabaja doble. You know, the lazy one will do double work. He said to work smarter and not harder. And so he taught me these skills, and that's why I wrote the book, because I was working very, very hard and burning out fast. But I'll tell you about that in a minute. And being proud to be Hispanic. You know, I had to learn Spanish on my own, because by the time my dad decided to teach me Spanish at 8 years old, I had been teased so much that I said, you know, I'm going to cut down on Spanish right now. Let me get back to you later on. That was a big decision that I regretted later on, because learning Spanish has opened up so many doors for me, and I'm still continuing to learn. But I was able to get a full paid master's degree because of my Hispanic heritage. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity and to be able to give back to the community. And my dad is still waiting for me one day to come home with a PhD. And I said, Dad, you can either have a PhD or a BABY. Which one do you want? And so he chose both. He's reading. He's like, you can do both. But first, I'm going to work on the baby. So, if you know any nice single men, just let me know. I'm just kidding. Good looking men here in New Mexico, by the way. So, I digress. So when we talk about the future, I was so proud watching the Republican National Convention and seeing your own governor, Susana Martinez, speak. Did you see her speak? My goodness. When she got up there and represented us as Latinas, represented us as Hispanics, represented you as New Mexicans, and told America how proud she was and what our issues are, and she said, in America, todo es posible. I was like, yes! I was just in my living room like, God, Susana, this is our future. And I was equally as impressed when I watched the Democratic National Convention, and I saw Julian Castro from San Antonio, and he shared his story. I was just like, we're taking over, what? And he shared his story of how his abuelita would make menudo to be able to pay for the hospital bills. And we are at center stage as Hispanics. I mean, everybody is talking about the importance of our community, right? And when you think about it, when you look at the numbers, $1 trillion market share, right? We are the fastest growing minority, with Latina-owned businesses growing faster than any other business. Mujeres, come on, right? The census is expecting by 2050 that we're going to be 30% of the population. And I know here in New Mexico, you're already the majority minority. But you know what? Numbers is not power. What we need to have is influence in our community. And that's something that I'm truly committed to. Because there were some other numbers I saw that disturbed me. When I did the research, I saw that only 16% of Hispanics are in management or professional jobs. That only 3% earn more than $50,000 a year. And Hispanics have higher dropout rates than any other community. So even though we are powerful in numbers, we have a lot of work to do to support our new generation, the future generations, to have the opportunities that the generations before us have sacrificed for us to have a better life. And I want to share with you one of the principles of the book. This book was written as an answer to my, you see, this is my own book for my co-author. I read it because I needed it. When I first started my business, I was suffering because I thought I needed to do everything by myself. My hair was falling out in clumps. I went from having bronchitis, from little colds to having bronchitis to having pneumonia because I couldn't shut it down. I didn't know how to shut it down. And then one day, I had, in a period of a month, I had 3 car accidents, and then my car was stolen. I was like, okay, universe, God, I hear you. And I said, there's got to be a better way to be successful without compromising my health and well-being. To be of service to my community, I have to put on my oxygen mask first. So I learned about the power of synergy. This is one of the principles in the book that I want to share with you. Because to be vital in our community, we need to work together. Synergy is a term coined by Buckminster Fuller. He was a futurist. That means the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Instead of 1 + 1 and us doing it all by ourselves, we can work together collaboratively, collectively as a community, as Mexicans, as Spanish, as Native Americans, as New Mexicans, as Americans. We can come together, pool our resources. It's been really tough the last few years as a business owner, you know? And a lot of us have struggled. But in times of contraction, guess what happens? Innovation. I don't know if any of you read my favorite book by Napoleon Hill, which is called Think and Grow Rich. Anybody read that book? Okay, it's on your book list. So Think and Grow Rich